Black people, it's time to wake up and realize that white oppressive forces are deploying information warfare against us. It's the truth of our plight and condition. Information warfare is when distorted information is fed to a targeted population that are designed to make the targeted population think and behave in ways that are against their own interests and that instead serve the interests of those conducting the information warfare. More specifically, it's an offensive psychological warfare propaganda tactic that uses misinformation and disinformation as a weapon to manipulate targeted populations to think and behave in ways that are against their own self-interest. African Americans are the unknowing victims of the most elaborately deployed information warfare in world history. African Americans are, in fact, drowning in disinformation that have been fed into our communities by white propagandists. The ultimate goal is to spread so much disinformation into the Black community until virtually everything believed by the African American population are lies that hinders our liberation. It confuses the Black population to such an extent that we're not able to come together to make any sensible conclusions in the interest of liberating ourselves from white oppression. Case, point, and proof. Their disinformation propaganda campaign is the true reason why many are now insisting that we African Americans are the true indigenous Americans, although countless millions of DNA analysis testings have scientifically confirmed our African identity. When we claim that we're the true indigenous Americans, this creates division between us and the true indigenous Americans. When two oppressed people are divided, this makes the U.S. system of white supremacy much stronger. Their disinformation propaganda campaign is also the true reason why millions of African Americans believe the idiotic ideology that we made the N-word ours and that using it now ridiculously empowers us. The truth is calling ourselves niggers actually psychologically conditions us to perceive ourselves through a false, inferior identity that aids the white society in maintaining its social dominance over us. They also constantly feed us disinformation, claiming that all study results favor themselves over us. This is being done to instill the myth of their white racial superiority over Black people into our subconscious minds. This makes us feel subservient towards whites and makes us more compliant with white dominance over our lives. They also deploy disinformation propaganda to make us believe that slavery actually benefited us. They do this by miseducating us to believe that our ancestors were illiterate and uncivilized before the Europeans invaded, and by also only showing us the poorest parts of Africa within their white-controlled media. This causes millions of us to literally feel indebted to the white society for having brutally enslaved our ancestors, because we've been manipulated to perceive it as having been a rescue mission that ultimately benefited us. Their disinformation propaganda campaign is also the true reason why many of us are now insisting that we're the true Jews found within a easily proven as fictional Bible written by our most ungodliest enemies. That myth actually keeps us complacently waiting for a fictional Jesus to come down and rescue us. Through their disinformation campaign, they have us kept within a collective psychosis that keeps us looking upwards towards them and believing lesser of ourselves by having us worship a false European Messiah created by Romans and also joining Greeks fraternities and sororities. But Christianity is a false religion that plagiarizes concepts from African folklore and principles of Mont. And all of Greece's first scholars received their education from Africans. Because white oppressive force controls most of the information that Black people receive, they've exploited this unfair scenario against Black people. White propaganda constantly feeds false information into the Black community that are designed to manipulate our collective minds to think in ways that serve and protects the interests of their white society. Through their disinformation propaganda campaign, White oppressive forces have brainwashed millions of black people to love our own enslavement. Those black people who do not critically think never notice their mental chains. It is time to wake up to our reality. One love and peace.